Hey everyone, today I want to show you how to export individual tracks from Logic so that you can do things like use them in other DAWs for maybe editing or production things, or send them to a mixing engineer. So when we talk about tracks in a multi-track format like this, we refer to them as stems. So what we're going to do is bounce the guitar and bass stems out of this Logic session so that we can import them into another DAW, and that they'll line up together, and also they will be on the grid once we set the BPM to be the same in our new DAW. So in this example, this is a continuation of the 4-part series I just uploaded on how to start a mix. This is a song that's tracked in Logic Pro X, and I want to keep working on it in Logic, but before moving any further, I need to edit the performance for these two guitar tracks and also possibly the bass. So the guitars need to be edited together to be tighter together, since they are a doubled part, and I prefer to do this in Pro Tools, but there are a lot of other reasons why you might need to export stems out of your Logic session. So we'll select the 3 tracks that we want to export. In this case, it's the 2 guitars and the bass. We'll go to File, Export, 3 tracks as audio files. That number will change depending on how many tracks you have selected. So once we click that, this menu will pop up that's asking us to choose a location. So I'll just throw them on our desktop in a new folder called Stems. And then we have some options here that we need to look at before we export them. The range, trim silence at file end, that's fine to leave on. That's not going to do anything destructive to your audio. Save format, you want to leave this as WAV. AIFF is essentially the same as WAV. There's no need to change that. Bit depth, leave it 24-bit, so there's no bit reduction. And then multi-output software instruments, obviously we don't have to worry about that. Bypass effect plugins, we'll do that for this case because we're just bringing these into our new DAW to edit. So I don't want the EQ and compression that we did in Logic to go over there. Because when I bring the edited files back into Logic, I'm going to put them in the same track with the same plugin, so I don't want the EQ and compression to be doubled up in that way. Include audio tail. If we had any reverb, that would include the reverb tail. Include volume pan automation. That would write any automation that we have into the file. Normalize. We'll turn this off. We do not want any normalization on these files because these are just being used to edit, and that's a destructive operation that we don't want to happen to these audio files this early on in the process. Then this box down here is just asking how you want the tracks to be named whenever they're bounced. You can leave this as is. This is normally just fine. So after we've looked at all that, we'll hit export, and you'll see Logic plays the session from top to bottom. And then we can go to our desktop, and we will see the 3 files in their entirety are here that we can go bring into our new DAW. Or if we were having our song mixed by somebody else, we might do this to all the tracks, and then we would have however many tracks, all the drums and vocals and stuff, and then we would send this whole folder to the mixing engineer for them to mix in their DAW. So yeah, that's it, you're done. The only things to keep in mind now are that when you put them in your new DAW, like I'm about to do with Pro Tools, you'll want to set the tempo to the same tempo as the song so that the grid is the same and the sections line up on the grid and all that. You also want to make sure that the new DAW is set to the same sample rate as the Logic session that you exported out of. And again, that's just so there's not a bunch of quality degradation on the files from all the needless sample rate conversions. So that'll be the end of this video. I'm going to pick up in the next video in Pro Tools and editing these tracks, and we'll pick up from there.